Hey there YouTube, welcome back to another slightly delayed black powder video. Not massively delayed this time, but I have had another couple of weeks of lots of medical problems. It's been really slowing my painting processes down. I haven't been able to do the sort of mammoth sessions that I normally do. Even when I'm sort of just doing 3 or 4 hours, I couldn't even manage that. So it just slowed me down a little bit. I normally finish a battalion in about a week, and these guys took me about 2 or 3 days extra. But I really enjoyed painting them. They're elite miniatures, these guys. In fact, I didn't even know that they did French and greatcoats, and I was really happy when I found them. And when I finally got my hands on them, and I've got to say that I had a bit of a wait for them, these guys. I think they took about 6 weeks to actually arrive. I was extremely happy with them. I think I got like a 30-man battalion, and normally with elite miniatures, their officer figures are normally not only are they normally in highly dubious positions, which I generally don't like, but also you tend to get 2 of the same officer as well. And you know me and officers, I like to have 2 different officers on every command base. And strangely enough, to my surprise, this particular pack came with 2 separate officers, which not only was that really great, but also they're actually not bad, and I ended up using them. I would say that my only downside to it was that you could actually pick a Eagle or a Fanyon Battalion, which is really cool. However, when the pack came, the Fanyon Bear actually had this awful cast metal flag, which is actually here. And you can see that not only is it horrid, but also the Fanyon is way too small, too thin for my liking. So I actually, with a little bit of finesse and patience, managed to completely cut that away, drill through his hand, and position one of my normal poles, which of course was perfect, because at one point I thought I'd have to like ditch the guy and use another figure. But again, I used him, and I ended up with a battalion of all elite miniatures, which of course is makes me very happy. It also came with a mounted Kernel, so he'll do as the separate Kernel that I'm doing for these boys in 3rd Corps. Yeah, I really enjoyed painting them. Like I say, they took me a lot longer than I normally do, but when they were finished, I really enjoyed doing them. So let's start off by giving you the blurb. So these guys are the 2nd Battalion of the 64th Regiment of Ligne, 2nd Brigade, 8th Infantry Division, 3rd Corps, and they're commanded by Chef de Battalion Pierre-Jacques Bourdonnais. And rather uniquely, these chaps are the only battalion, other than the 1st of this particular brigade, and I think it's the only brigade out of the whole of 3rd Corps that only has 2 battalions. So of course, completing this means that I'm now literally just a colonel and a brigade commander away from actually completing the entire 8th Division. And when I do that, I'll actually zap a video up of going over the whole 8th Division. So right, enough blabble. Let's get on to showing you the guys in a little bit closer detail. Now, the light is... let's just set the camera up for a second. As you can see out the window here, it's what you would call as light in comparison to what I've had for the last 3 or 4 days here in Southampton. But it's still not perfect filming light. So I'm going to hopefully it won't be too dark, but I apologise if it is. And so let's start off with the Grenadiers stand, as I always do. So here we go. I'll try and get move those guys back. Let's move the light down a little bit. Okay, there we go. It's still a bit dark. Let's just try again. Let's put it a little bit closer. Just doesn't like it, does it? Here we go. Okay, so here we go. Here's the Grenadiers. Really nice figures. Again, from Elite. I mean, they have got their little odd, funky faces, and I've got to say that their eye slits are incredibly difficult to try and get eyeballs in. In fact, in the end, I actually only put eyeballs in the slots that were actually big enough, which on these particular chaps is actually the left eye, with the right eye being so recessed in that you can't actually see it, even if the eyeball was put there. But really nice faces. And like I say, they're a real joy to paint, these guys. I really enjoyed them, even though they're basically bog standard great coated guys. But they've got a nice, interesting selection of stuff on their backpacks, and they've got these side bags extra, which you don't normally see on a lot of French troops. Yeah, like I say, I really enjoyed doing them, and I think they've turned out really good in the end. So here we have this is the Grenadiers. Go on to the fourth company. We got, I think there's like 4 or 5 positions as well, between all the foot troops, which is pretty cool, including some in their forage caps. And we also have some with the N on their cartridge boxes as well, which is really cool. So that is the 4th company. The Voltigeur, or Voltigeur. Again, really nice figures. I guess you could say that these are more or less the same as the Grenadiers as far as positions go. I think there's like 2 positions for the epauletted figures, and there's 3 for the normal infantry. Is that right? No, I think there's 3 actually. There's 3 of each position, because there's 2 with Shakos, and there's 1 with the forage cap. However, you do get less in the less of the forage cap in the line infantry part, rather than the actual epauletted guys. So these are the Voltigeurs. Let's go for the musician next. Again, actually a really nice drummer from Calpe. Normally, sometimes the drummers are a little bit iffy, but I really like the position of this guy. And of course, the rest of the I think this is the second company with the blue. And you can see also that I've actually mixed up a new batch of terrain. It's very, very similar to my normal terrain, but just a little tiny bit lighter. I think it's. I went on to the Luke's APS site, and I think this is called Wasteland Dirt or something like that. And it's just. I think the one that I originally used was Barren Fields, and for some bizarre reason I just thought that this was the one that I normally used, and it was also on discount, so I thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to get a couple of bags of that, and I did, and I mixed it in with what was left of my old, and it's just a tad lighter, but it doesn't really make any difference. I really like it actually. So here we have, like I say, the drummers stand for 3 guys, and the drummer. So that is the musician's stand. The NCO stand. I would say that probably my least favourite figure is probably the NCO. He's got a really odd wrist. I actually twisted his arm around, his hand around. Originally it was like upwards, and for some bizarre reason he's got like a really long wrist and a really thin hand, and it just looks really odd. Having his arm like so straight as well. And also he's pretty weirdly kitted out for an NCO as well. He hasn't got his sabre briquet, which sergeants normally do, which made me think, well, perhaps this guy is a corporal rather than an NCO. But in the end, I just went with it. I thought, well, perhaps this guy's just been promoted and he hasn't got a sabre briquet yet. So he's literally just got his sergeant stripes. And other than that, he's just in his normal gear that he originally had before he got promoted. He actually has a uncovered shako, and along with him we've got a couple of the same position guys and one of the forage cap guys without epaulets. I think there's a couple of these chaps within this battalion. So that is the NCO's stand. And then finally, again, my favourite stand. Actually, I did lie. There is actually a Calpe miniature used in this, mainly because lack of NCOs. That's the only reason I put them in. Otherwise, I would have been quite happy just going all elite. So we'll start off with the flag bearer. Now, obviously, like I say, I had to drill out and cut away his old pole. Now, the way he's holding it. I mean, I suppose I could have drilled through his bottom hand and lowered the pole a little bit, but in the end I decided to have him holding it like that, holding it up, and that does make his banner a little bit taller, but only a little bit. So that's something I'm trying to eradicate, if possible, is like really long banner poles. And in the end, when I worked it all out and measured it against some of the other chaps, it worked out okay. It's maybe, I don't know, maybe half an inch taller than a normal one that's held at like a little bit lower down on the pole. You know, if it's in the flag holder or whatever, it goes down. Obviously, it would go down and a little bit more diagonal if he had a flag holding bit, which he doesn't. Also, there we have one of the officers. So he's the junior officer. Again, uncovered shakos for these chaps. Then we have the Calpe NCO, which is always a good staple for NCOs. You know, you can't have if you want a decent figure for a sergeant, then you know, I've run out of Perry's ones, unfortunately, but I have got, I think I've still got like 2 or 3 Calpe ones, which I'll probably be using for the same sort of thing as I go along. And then finally the Kernel, or the chef of the battalion, the major. Again, a really nice positioned officer. I like the fact that they're both in sort of great coats, both the officers, and he's kind of getting ready to draw his sword. Now again, it's a little bit odd positions, I suppose you could say, but I did actually quite like them, so I actually ended up using them, which it's got to be a first. I don't think I've ever used both the Calpe officers that come in a battalion. So yeah, that's the end of showing you the 64th. So I hope you enjoyed it. Next up will probably be the 2 officers that I need to complete the division, and then I'll probably decide what I'm going to do after that. So probably starting, you know, what I'll probably do is I'll probably put away all the 8th division and then start bringing in the next division, which is going to be fun because I can't carry anything. But yeah, I'll obviously decide whether to do the 10th or the 11th first, next rather. Yeah, so again, thanks to all my subscribers for watching, and thanks to a few more new subscribers. I'm now sort of crawling towards 450, which is really cool. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back hopefully back on sort of a more normal schedule, but I can't guarantee that at the moment. But yeah, I'll be seeing you. I'm actually going to be doing some other videos too, so you'll be getting a few more extra videos than just the normal one every week or so. That's of course if the light holds out. So I'll call this one a day, and I'll catch you all next time. Until then, bye bye.